Hello readers and writers, I'm MJ and today we're doing my September TBR. So for September, I kind of wanted to go with books that reminded me of fall. So I took what I had on my TBR cart and kind of figured out what gave me that vibe. Not quite books I want to read in October, but still kind of that fallish vibe, as I'm so excited for fall to actually be coming in a state where I can actually appreciate it, as opposed to Southern California where it is one season all year long. I also have some indie books on my list as well that are not necessarily fallish themes, but are ones I really want to read. So let's start. The first book on my list is Fragile Remedy. This is a science fiction book that I bought when it first came out, and I've had it on my shelf ever since. I don't actually know a lot about it. I do know that the reviews for it are very good, and so I'm excited to pick it up. As for why it kind of gave me fall vibes, I just kind of that whole poisonous kind of blues cover scheme just was like, this is a great read for September, and I have no idea if any of that is what the book is actually about. Next, I'm picking up Parallel Worlds by Michiru Kaku, and I actually have already started reading this book. I'm about 94 pages in, and I put it down for some reason months ago, and I really want to pick it up. This is less about giving fall vibes and more about research for a future book. So yeah, but I really want to finish it and really kind of need to finish it, so it's going on the TBR. And then I have The Mountain in the Sea. This is one I picked up honestly because it had sprayed edges for a paperback, which I've seen happen more and more often because it looks very cool. And if you're gonna have a book in paper, it should look cool, right? This is a science fiction book, but it's not a type of science fiction that I normally read, basically monster science fiction. And it just looked really interesting and something a little bit different, and that sounded great. While specifically I'm picking it up in September is, again, that monster science fiction. Not horror, I'm assuming, but also that little bit of anticipation vibes, a little bit of adrenaline, and so it seemed like a really great September read. And then I have Godkiller by Hannah Kenner, and I don't know what this is about. I know it's just very, very popular, and that, again, that's one I've had in my physical copy for at least a little while, since I got it in a book box, but it looks fantastic. It's absolutely stunning and gorgeous, and I want to read it to hopefully enjoy it and keep it on my shelves. But it also, just the cover just gave me perfect transition into autumn vibes with the bright moon and the color scheme, and so it was like, yeah, September seemed like the perfect month to pick this up. Now, my indie reads are all on ebook this month, and all of my ebook books are indie this month because it just worked out that way. So I'm really looking forward to reading Dark Wolf, and this is by Rebecca Sharp. And if you haven't seen it yet, I actually have a video out with Rebecca where we are talking about, ask an editor questions. So if you're interested in writing or just knowing more about this author, you should definitely go check out that video. Rebecca is fantastic and worked with me on editing Lucas, and is going to work with me on the entire Ember Town series, and hopefully beyond that, because spectacular editor, but also a writer. And so Dark Wolf is the start of a series that has autistic representation in it, and that's my jam, and I really want to read it, so it's been high on my priority list. And then I have Odd Blood, and this again is an indie book with autistic representation. I think this one is a little bit more core, but I did ask where I should start with all of their books, and Odd Blood was one that was recommended to me. And then I can kind of gauge my level with the other books as I continue forward. But I'm super excited to pick this up. And then I have Awakening, and this is a book that has been on my TBR for far too long. It is a fantasy book, and the sequel for it is either coming out or is already out. So I want to get the first book read so that I can pick up the sequel. I have high expectations for this book, and I know it will not disappoint. And then the last book on my TBR is Tears in the Water. I picked this one up back when it was on sale, and this is again another autistic queer author. I believe they're non-binary. I'm fairly certain they're non-binary. But it's a pretty popular indie book, and even though it's YA, it's one I wanted to read, and so I'm adding this to my September TBR also. So in total, I have 8 books on my September TBR. We will see how that goes. I hope that I will get through them all and maybe some more. But I also have a lot of writing deadlines to do as well. So we're kind of having to do a lot of juggling for that also. But I'm really excited about these reads. What ones do you think I should prioritize? And which ones are you most interested in? Also, let me know what you're reading in September. I would love to figure it out, especially since I've got to get, all the books with fall vibes so I can create my October TBR. And as always, keep writing, keep reading, and until next time.